7-0 to Manchester City. Leeds United ripped apart, destroyed, baptized, kidnapped, absolutely smashed to pieces at the Etihad tonight from a rampant and absolutely exhilarating, a pinpoint at the races Manchester City. 4 points clear at the summit of the Premier League table. Big pressure now on Liverpool and Chelsea as they go into their big ties on Thursday night. But Man City look unstoppable. Unstoppable right now. Do they look? Yes, they do. That they look absolutely scintillating as things stand, and you can't take that away from them. You know, only 3 to 4 weeks ago, there was talk 30% of their games they were failing to score in. Do they need a striker? Can they come good? And Pep Guardiola has shut everybody down again. Now, Leeds United have been beaten. Leeds United have been pammed by a number of teams. They've been pammed and beaten by a number of teams. There's no doubt about that. But the way City have played in recent games is nothing short of spectacular. An absolutely scintillating evening. And KDB on fire has got to scare the Premier League if he can grow from this position. And a lot of people will say things tonight like, we'll get onto the, Leeds were bad. They were open. Yeah, there was some poor defending at times. Leeds was stupid to try and go toe-to-toe with City. Last season, when they beat them, they were resolute. They defended stoutly, and they caught them on the break. But you can't take anything away from Manchester City this evening because they were pinpoint. They were rampant. They were clinical, with the word I use, in front of goal. And they didn't stop. Not after 3, 4, 5, 6 goals. They carried on going. They carried on trying. And there's nothing more than out of this world that you can say. It was one of the best performances of the season, one of the best scorelines of the season. I believe, I want to have this checked, but the biggest margin of defeat in the history of Leeds United. The biggest margin ever, which is mad. It's absolutely mad to see that, to actually sit there and watch it. Scintillating, absolutely scintillating to sit there and witness that kind of performance. And as I was alluding to earlier, before we just went off to kind of give more credit to Man City for tonight's performance, you have a situation tonight where KDB looked back and looked firing. Phil Foden getting on the score sheet. Jack Grealish having one of his best games in a Manchester City shirt. And if these players start to click, if these players start to deliver, if these players start to, come together in the way in which people expected maybe a little bit earlier on in the season, it's gonna be painful and very for a lot of teams, and it's going to be exceedingly difficult for Manchester City to be caught by Chelsea and Liverpool, respectively. What a beautiful sight watching dirty Leeds getting smacked, albeit by City. I have to be honest with you. There's something look. I'm a Man United fan, so there was almost no love lost for either team tonight. I have to be really honest. I'm just sick of people. I'm sick of people that refer to Bielsa as a great manager. It does my Swede in. Guardiola is a great manager. Fergie is a great manager. Bielsa's nowhere near that standard. Let's just stop. Bielsa is the most overrated manager to ever coach a professional team. I got attacked whenever I point this out on Twitter. Congrats to City. Yeah, look, City deserved it. City were by far and away the best team, and the form that Manchester City have been in of late I think would see them beat nearly anybody they go up against right now. They are that good at this moment. They've been that good. They're vying for their 4th title in 5 years. Wolves was a bit of a struggle for them, but they were creating the chances. They just weren't scoring. put 3 past Watford. They beat West Ham. They beat Paris Saint-Germain of late. They went for a little period where they were conceding a sort of a goal a game in that little run as well. 4 plus Club Brugge, 4 plus Brighton. They've had a few high-scoring games recently, but they've been winning. Barring that defeat in the if we look at the Premier League in itself, looking at it now, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wins on the bounce. It's 8 wins in their last 10. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, sorry. So that's 9 wins in their last 10 Premier League games. Liverpool and Chelsea have got to step up now. If either drop points this week, I don't think they will, but if either do, there's a 4-point gap. Chelsea currently 5 points behind Man City. Is anybody turning that round? The answer for me is no. They've got to step up now, these teams, and deliver. City fans, don't forget you got smashed by Tottenham. What? They got... Okay, fair enough. Thank you. City destroyed them. Rate them the way they play is beautiful. But as a club, still tiny, much work to do to win, even to talk to us. But respect you guys. You're on fire. Alan here says, I don't think City have been as impressive as you think, Terry. Only team on paper that have been good in the league is West Ham, only beating the likes of Wolves, Watford, a poor United, and Villa at the time. I kind of get what you're saying there. I think I might have misread that a little bit. Yeah, but I think City have turned the corner. When you look at if we just look at those last 10 games, for instance, of Man City, they got a dubious penalty against Wolves, but they battered Leeds tonight. They were much better than Watford. They were much better than Villa. West Ham have been a very good team. So to beat them 2-1, I think is a decent result. But I still think they were the better team in that game. They smashed Everton 3-0. Yep, look, Man United, you can call it an anomaly because of how bad we were at the time. They did lose. And then the defeat before that came to Palace. But before that, they beat Brighton 4-1, beat Club Brugge 5-1, and Burnley 2-0. I think they're now really clicking into gear, though, Manchester City. I think it's this moment. It's this point. It's this little turning point in the last 3 to 4 weeks since the last international break that we're seeing the cream rise to the crop. And they weren't my pick to win the league this year. They weren't. Although they were champions last year, I thought Chelsea were going to go and do it. I still think Chelsea can win it. But where we get this is where an opinion turns into reality. It's what Chelsea do in games like this week. It's what Chelsea do this Thursday against Everton that, by the way, could be without so many of their first-team squad. If Chelsea or Liverpool inexplicably drop points and they allow a 4-5-point gap over Manchester City at practically the halfway stage of the season, we won 2 games, we're a couple of games away now from being halfway through, it could be impossible to pull them back. It really could. Julius here says the title race is between City and Liverpool. Grealish over Scamcho is what 17 plus has got to say, or 17 times has got to say. Terry, you are kind to Leeds. They were horrendous. Just look at the first goal. Look, I know they were horrendous at times. I'm just trying not to take away anything. I'll be honest with you. I'm trying not to take anything away from Man City because their fans will all come for me because they don't like it. See, everyone knows my thoughts on Leeds, my friend. I think Leeds are one of the most overrated teams in Premier League history. We've grown this habit as football fans for wanting all types of football to be pretty beautiful, modern, exhilarating, energetic. And I understand that to a degree. But teams with the squad capabilities of Leeds shouldn't be going out toe-to-toe with everybody they play against. It's dumb. Man United have looked poor for about 18 months, 2 years under Ollie. But when we played Leeds, invariably, we looked like one of the best teams in the world. And people were encouraging them and praising them for doing it. No, play to your means, dress to your means, spend to your means in life. behave within the means that you have. Leeds United do not have the facilities to play the way they do. They do not have the bank balance to issue the checks that they give out. Their checks are bouncing. Their checks are bouncing on a weekly basis. They have got them debt collectors at the door. Excuse me, you bought it. You haven't paid for it. We're here to take it away. Neil Ruddock style. Bailiffs at the door. It's a joke. Legit. They should be investigated for FFP. Who? Bro, I really respect the super chat. Please tell me who, so I can understand. I think you're talking City, but if you don't specify, I can't delve into your comment anymore, my friend, because I don't quite know who you're talking about. But thank you. To be honest, to be fair to Bielsa, Leeds had their moment. They just didn't take their chances. Their finishing was crap. They had to take their chances. They had a few moments where they got in behind. But it's about being calculated in these games. It's about being sensible in these games. And they were too open, tried playing out from the back from the beginning. Their man-to-man marking system against a team with the movement and fluidity of Man City at the Etihad is suicidal. It's suicidal. It's like getting into the ring with a fighter with a granite jaw and exceedingly powerful punches. Pure, unadulterated knockout power. You can go toe-to-toe with them. You might catch them. But it's more than likely that you are getting sparked. You are getting ironed out and you ain't waking up for half an hour. Headaches for days. And that's what's happened to Leeds United tonight. It really is. Leeds man mark and get punished every time. And again, that's what I'm talking about. Man like the Red Sea podcast. Hope you guys are doing well over there. Says City, Chelsea and Liverpool are so much better than the rest. And this is very true. And I think Chelsea are being crazily written off because of a bad run of games. Well, Liverpool have had their bad run of form this year in a few games. Man City have had it to a degree. But all in all, City have failed to win 4 games this year, Liverpool 5 and Chelsea 5. Their records are so close and similar. I think they're all in the race still. I believe Chelsea and Liverpool will both win on Thursday. And this is going to be one heck of a race. And everybody's got an opinion on who's going to win. And there'll be, 1/3 of people are going to be right and 2/3 are going to be wrong. But they're all still in the title race, there's no doubt. Terry, what are my thoughts on PSG? I need to know what you mean in relation to what, my bro? You need to specify that question because I don't know what you mean by that. So it needs to be more to it. Southern Scouser that was here. There we go, my bro. Terry, why do Leeds think they can go toe-to-toe? I have no idea. Do you know what Leeds United remind me of? You get those singers that turn up to the X Factor and they think they're the bomb. They think they can sing. They think they can dance sometimes because their dads told them they're great. Their best friend has gassed them up for years, but they're shocking. They can't hold a tune. And then Simon Cowell laughs at them and it all kicks off on stage. That's Leeds United. They were a brilliant championship team. They are a bang average, in fact, completely overrated Premier League side. They sit where now in the league? They sit 16th. They've lost 7 games this season, only won 3. They have a minus 15 goal difference. And I don't have an issue with that. I think they're probably a little bit below where they should be with their squad. My issue is Bielsa didn't he get voted into the top 3 managers in the world? Fuck off! Bollocks! It's so offensive to quality managers. It's crazy to me. Crazy to me. Terry, do you think Phillips especially, and new cap Bamford should push for a move to protect their England careers? I think their England careers are pretty safe. They're very much part of Club England rather than just the England squads. But I don't think it necessarily would be a bad move for them to get away. Leeds, will they get relegated? I don't know. You know, Burnley have got a couple of games in hand. They may or may not win them. Leeds could go down this year. Let's see what Newcastle buy in Jan. I doubt Burnley will go down. I realize Burnley have only won one match this season. That's shocking. But still, Leeds could go down. We'll see what happens. I hope they do. To be honest, I hope they do. Someone here says, Terry, Liverpool have only lost one game in all comps this season. This is true. But as I said, they've failed to win 5 Premier League games. That's my point. I'm talking about the overall of those teams in that space and in that run there. Leeds are suffering from second season syndrome, one way of playing and have been found out. Not adopting to the account for injuries could spell trouble. Very true. They remind me a little bit of Sheffield United. Sheffield United's first season, there was talk about them making the Champions League in the last 8 to 9 games. And they could have done it. But they didn't. And they didn't do it because they're not quite good enough. And then the following year, they were awful. Leeds are better this season than Sheffield United were when they went down. But the story feels very much the same to me. It really, really does feel very much the same to me indeed. I hope Burnley go down and Leeds stay up. Easy win every season. That's true. That is very, very true indeed. Leeds will get a cash injection from San Francisco 49ers. I don't think that they will get relegated. City are scary and could get Haaland in the summer. Can you imagine Haaland in this City team? My word. That is beyond scary. Beyond scary, beyond worrying. That is pure fear. For me, that's fear. Because the chances they create with one of the best natural goal scorers in the history of this sport. He's one of the best natural finishers ever. He has the best goal-to-game ratio ever in the Champions League. Fastest player ever to reach, I think it's over 100 goals at club level in Europe, ever. I believe I'm right in saying that. I could be wrong, actually. Let me just check what that record was, because I don't want to get that wrong while I'm live on the air. Where was I reading that? Yeah, sorry, I'm right. Yeah, 143. 143 club European goals in 184 appearances. He has 74 league goals for Borussia Dortmund in 73 games. He had 29 in 27 for Salzburg. Imagine that at City. I've said before, if Haaland joins a team like City or a team like Liverpool in the Prem, he'll score 30 goals by the end of January. He'll break Mo Salah's goal-scoring record. In fact, in a 38-game season, he'll break the 46-game record of goals. If Haaland will prove himself, in my opinion, to be one of the greatest goal scorers to ever grace football. Whether he achieves the same amount of goals as Messi's and Ronaldo's will depend upon his fitness and how long his body lasts. But he will have a 5 or 6 year period where in that period of time at his pomp, he'll score more goals than Shearer in that time. He'll score more goals in a 5-6 year period than Henry, Kane, Aguero. I think Haaland has the capabilities of doing that if he joins a City team that are as good as this. Like, I'm talking about the whole caboodle here, the whole package. It will be an absolute madness. It really, really would. If Haaland comes to City and spends 10 seasons at City, maybe City will win 10 more Premier Leagues. Do you know what, Bill? They could. That without like trying to be over like hyperbolic or anything, they legitimately could. This could be one of the most potent matchups coming togethers that the history of the Premier League has ever seen. It'd just be absolute madness. Terry, won't Haaland have to adopt to the Prem? I don't think he will. Most of the time, the adopting to the Prem is to do with physicality rather than technical ability. He is a unit. I think he'll be fine. Haaland's stats are scary now. Imagine his prime. I remember when Haaland first was breaking through, and people were saying that he was the Nordic Lukaku. People were saying that he had nothing about him. He would fade away. He's just the best young striker I've ever seen. I think pound for pound at his age, better than Henry. Better. I'm talking about what is he in age now, Haaland? Was he 21 yet? At 21 years of age, I think he's better than Henry. I think he's better than Aguero. I think he's better than Lewandowski, better than Harry Kane, better than Alan Shearer, better than Suarez at his age. Now, those players went on to do things huge in their careers, but pound for pound, age for age, better. And I'm talking about putting the ball in the back of the net. He will never have the technical ability of a Thierry Henry. I don't think he will. I don't think he'll ever have the overall football play of a Wayne Rooney. He is an out and out. I'm talking the goal scoring element of strikers and goal scorers. So let me probably rephrase that. The best goal scorer, the best goal scoring number 9 I have ever seen. So I just want to make sure I phrase that in the right way, because people say, oh, technical wise, this guy was better. I ain't talking about the technical ability. I'm talking at his age, the amount of goals that he's scoring it is unprecedented. No one else has ever done it. He has set the record, Guinness Book of Records and all that. He's just out of this world. And if Manchester City picking up, it's good night Vienna. They are walking away with the league. They are walking away with the league. Simple and as straightforward as that. A few people saying Suarez at R9. Yeah, R9 was amazing, but I don't think at 21 years of age in Europe, R9 had done what he's done. I think I'm going to hazard he might not have more Champions League goals than him. At 21, I'm talking age here, not the best overall. And maybe R9 had more. There's no way R9, in my opinion, had 143 goals in his first 184 games by the age of 21 in Europe. There's no way he had that. I don't know. I'm just hazarding a guess. Like this guy, R9, better technical ability, without a doubt. But I already told you, I'm talking about the goal-scoring prowess. This man is the best I have seen. The best. And listen, and I'm not saying the other guys are bad. So don't twist it into that. But I'm just looking at the original Ronaldo now, actually. Right. Let me have a little look here. There we go. He's 45. He ain't even that old, you know. I just always forget. I mean, his goal scoring record was amazing, to be honest with you. It's pretty good, to be fair. I could be wrong, you know. I actually could be wrong. I could be very wrong about that, if I'm being honest. So what is he, 45 now? This now. So he's 45 now. So he's born in 1976, which means when he went to PSV in 1994, he would have been circa 18. So between 94 and 97 is what we've got to look at, right? 18 to 21. So in that, I actually could be wrong about that. Jesus Christ. That's amazing there. So at PSV, I'm going to do the math now. Okay, it's very easy, actually. Wow. No, he doesn't have as many, but it isn't far off. So in the same period of time, R9's record was mad good, though, right? 54 goals for PSV and 49 goals for Barcelona in that time. So what we're looking at there in total is 11, 1, 9, 10. It's 101 goals in 101 goals he had in 50, so 100 and about 106 games. That's very, very good. Very, very good indeed. He then went to Inter Milan. He had a few, again, the injuries started in that period. For Inter Milan, it was 60 goals in 99 games. He then goes to Real Madrid, 104 goals in 177 games. The one thing that slowed R9 down, R9, look at that start of his career, man. 101 goals in like 106 games between 18 years of age and 21. So that same 3-year period that we're talking about with Haaland, right? And the only thing that started to slow R9 down were those injuries, and he had everything. And that's what I say about Haaland. The only thing that stops Haaland breaking crazy records is going to be injuries. For me, if I was to compare Haaland and R9 as a technical football player, better. I do think though, as a finisher, 143 goals versus 101 goals at the same age. Plus, he's got that the best goal scoring ratio ever in the Champions League. The most goals for a player of 21 years and under per game that he's played ever in the Champions League. I just side with him on the finishing ability. But R9, absolutely. I never actually looked at R9 stats until that point. And the thing is, stats when it comes to goal scoring, pretty much very reliable. You can't say he's the best finisher in the world. Man played 100 games and scored 22 goals. Terry, stop it. Stop what? What are you, man, getting upset about? I'd love to know. R9 was crazy. R9, if he had no injuries, he would have been the undisputed GOAT. Yeah, he had every chance of doing that if he didn't get those injuries, And I think that, he had injuries when he was in Serie A. He had a few injuries. You look at his first, he would have done. I think, again, little things, not winning Champions Leagues and everything else were there. But it's just, as you say, you look at that kind of last 5, 6, sort of last 7 years of his career, 3 seasons at Real Madrid, still decent numbers. And then when he went to AC Milan, he barely played, even when he went back to and played for Corinthians, not great numbers for even that level for a player. Very, very sad the way his career ended in that way. There's no doubt. But back to our original point, Haaland's of that level of finishing. I'm not saying he can dribble like him. I'm not saying he has the skills. I'm not claiming that at all. So if you're sitting there getting angry and you're thinking I'm saying he's got the same ability as him, relax your brain, smile, because that's not what I'm saying. Cognitive dissonance is kicking in and it's making your ears get blocked up. So you're not hearing. That's what it's doing. R9 is the best, is what the Warrior's got to say. R9 did all this with a diet like Eden Hazard. He did, but then everybody's diets were worse in the early mid-90s, my bro. Horses for courses. That only works if you're comparing R9 against others from his era, not from this era, my guy. I hear you. CR7. Look, Cristiano Ronaldo up to the age of 21 was nowhere near this prolific goal scorer. Just wasn't. So, again, listen to what I'm saying. Up to the age of 21 in Europe. I'm not saying he's the greatest of all time right now. Listen carefully, Twisted Bubba. Listen carefully, my friend. So R9 is the GOAT. There will never be anyone like him. I hear you on that. That isn't the claim being made, my friend. That isn't the claim being made. I love it, Joe. I love about me and KJ talk about this a lot. That when you say things, people very rarely listen to exactly what you're saying. If you say something like, "I think Haaland's the greatest ever sort of striker I've seen," based on his finishing, no, this guy's better. This guy's better. It's like, but what? Why though? His ability or his dribbling, or it's like, yeah, but that ain't what I said, is it? Yeah, Terry, most of these lads are deaf. Listen, I respect them. I think people love certain things. So when you love something and you hear something that's not quite what you want to hear, I understand it. I get it. I really, really do. Michael Owen was good. But Michael Owen was nowhere near the standard of a Haaland. Nowhere near. Michael Owen never even scored more than 20. He never hit 20 league goals in a season. Do people know that? He never hit 20 league goals once in a season, Michael Owen. Not once. Not once. And now I say that, I could be wrong. Maybe he did it once. But I swear I read Michael Owen never hit. I'm going to go and check now. 20 league goals once. Again, he was outstanding. Man won a Ballon d'Or and all that. But on finishing ability, Haaland, better than him. So look at this. Do you want to know the difference between Haaland and Michael Owen? Let me show you this one. Michael Owen scored 158 goals in 297 games for Liverpool. Haaland, in 184 games. Okay, so over 100 games less. Is only 13, 14 goals behind Michael Owen at that stage. If Haaland keeps scoring at the rate he's scoring at now, okay, let me do the quick math on this. And I'm not saying Owen was bad. Don't take any of this as other players are bad. I'm talking about Haaland's level as a finisher here, right? Let's just work this out for a moment. Once Haaland reaches 297 goals, his ratio will put him onto about 232 goals. So somewhere in the region of about 80 to 90 more goals than Michael Owen at that time. That's his level, my guy. Huge. So yeah, back to the original point. You're talking about a situation where you're talking about a situation where if Man City get him, it would be next level. Someone here, a lot of you are saying Bundesliga tax. Do you know what? It's cool. We can take Bundesliga tax into consideration. A few of you are saying that defending was much harder in R9's day, and I'm happy to accept that, as long as we don't try and make claims that this is the greatest ever football that the Premier League and Europe's ever had, because certain teams are winning trophies in it. Because that disproves it. Which one is it? That's a question for you. Blue Viper and his dad went to a Celine Dion concert. That is the weirdest super chat I think I've ever seen on the terrace, my guy. If Michael Owen was playing in the Bundesliga at that age, he would have scored a lot more, Terry. You telling me the German football wasn't good between from the mid-90s to the early noughties? German football was brilliant then. In that time period, Borussia Dortmund won the Champions League. Bayern Munich won the Champions League. I know that just off the top of my head. German football was flying. Like Germany as a nation. German football has always been brilliant, my bro. Come on, my guy. Come on. What is it? R9 is much better than Haaland is what Coin Toss has got to say. And of course, you're allowed to accept that. Terry, take a breath, Terry. You are talking breeze at this point. It's getting embarrassing. Snap out of that. What's embarrassing, bro? You think I care? What? I think Haaland is the best finisher I've seen for his age in Europe ever. That's it. I don't get what's bad about me saying it. R9 had 167 in 150 at 21. That's interesting you say that. It's different from what I looked at here. So from the age of 18 and 21. So if he was born in okay, you're adding that year there in. Maybe that's true. If that's true, then I retract what I said. If that's true, then I retract what I said. I looked at it as up until 1997. No, that can't be right. That would have been when he was turning 22, bro. Because he was born in 1976. So the season that you're talking about would have been you'd have added in the 97, 98 season. So that would have been when he was turning 22 rather than when he turned 21. Or maybe no, he would have been 21 and that would have been his 20, but that was his 22nd year. If you're going to add that year in, then cool. But if you're going to add that year, we could only do that maths at the end of this season when Haaland gets to the end of his 21st year. Does that make sense? So you're adding an extra season on that Haaland hasn't played yet. Do you get where I'm coming from? So that's the end of the season where Ronaldo was going to be turning 22. So I think Haaland turns 22 in like July. So we'll do that again. But it's very likely he'll score more than that because he'll have the rest of this season to go. But I hear your point. Great shout. And R9 is amazing. I'm just telling you on finishing. I think when you add in those Champions League goals as well, I think that's the standout one for me. The amount of Champions League goals he's got as well are absolutely colossal. You know, I'm not too sure how many exactly R9 had. He had quite a few, but Haaland has the record there, I think, age-wise. And I swear Haaland's the youngest ever player to get to 150. Was it 150 goals? Something like that. He broke, it was a record I read. It might be 100 goals, 100 European goals, fastest player ever. I'd have to look at it again anyway. People like holding on to aspects of their own generation. If records are not being broken, if records are not being broken as the game in general develops, then the sport is regressing. Yeah, I hear you on that. I love this comment. Terry, I beg you do some R9 research on YouTube. Yeah, that always helps. That always helps. Read the super chat again. R9 had 167 in 84. Are you taking into consideration his Corinthian goals? I'm talking about Europe. Sorry, bro. I'm talking about, I said European goals. So those 44 goals that he scored in Brazil, I'm not counting. I said European. You can't compare a player that hasn't, like, I'm comparing someone's European careers. Sorry, bro. Sorry, I did misunderstand it. I thought you meant that way around. I apologize, my brother, but thank you. Yeah, I'm talking about European goals. I was talking about European goals. I'm not sure City will buy Haaland because it's short term. Mino Raiola will want to move him on every 3 years to earn the dosh. Maybe. A few people saying Van Basten was a better finisher. I didn't see Van Basten though. So I can't claim. I don't know. Would you take Bruno and Rashford for Haaland swap deal? Would you take it? Would I do it, you mean? Be very tempting. If I'm being honest. The geezer's so good. The geezer's so good. Yeah, that's who I meant. I didn't mean Corinthians. That was at the bottom. Yeah, that's who I was looking at. He scored 44 goals for them. Anyway, look, we're getting really off topic. I was speaking about his European goals. That's all. And his European goal scoring record was amazing. I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying I think that Haaland, for me, is the best natural finisher I've ever seen at his age in European football. I really do. Haaland is a good player, but can't stand his agent. A lot of people will agree with you on that, Grey Wolf Dinner. The R9 disrespect is a madness. Zero disrespect to one of the greatest players of all time. It's not disrespectful for me to think a different player is a better natural finisher. That's not disrespect. I'm not saying he's a bad player, my bro. That's not disrespectful at all. Terry, check Van Basten's stats. I'm not going to bother check them because my point was about what I've talked about what I've witnessed and seen, my bro. Cognitive dissonance. Listen, I didn't watch Van Basten, so I ain't chatting about Van Basten. But I'll check his stats. I'll check his stats for you. I'm surprised you didn't say Maldini. I need to know how old he was and what year he was born. So he's 56 now. So he was born in 1965. So when did he start playing? So he'd have been 20 that year. Wow, very, very good. So I think at the age of 20, in the end of the 1987 season, which would have made him 22, 21, mate, 21 still. He had 152 goals in 171 games, which is sensational. But again, then you get into things, but only 11 Champions League goals compared to Haaland's, I think, 27 or something like that. So, yeah. Haaland's got like 27 Champions League. I swear I read this earlier. Is it like... No, not 27 Champions League goals. It sounded crazy. Like 21 Champions League goals in 20 games. It's mad. It's mad for his age. Can Haaland suit City style of play? Yes, I think he can. I really do think he can. Yeah, Gerd Müller was amazing as well. His record will be somewhere similar. Remember, great players in attacking positions always have great statistics. I watched Van Basten play, and I agree with Terry. Yeah, look, I'm just making claims. I didn't watch him play. I'm too young. But do a top 10 strikers of all time debate. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, do you know what? I was at that game where R9 scored a hat trick against Man United, and it's the only time I remember the crowd at Old Trafford applauding an opponent. He was that good at R9. He was absolutely sensational. He really, really was. Yeah, he really, really was. He was out of this world. One of the best players I've ever seen play. Again, if you're asking me who's a better overall footballer, him or Haaland, I wouldn't even debate it. It's R9 every single day of the week. But on goal scoring ability, I also think as well with Haaland hasn't played in as good a teams as R9 did. There's no way the teams he's played for in Europe have been near that standard, but he's delivered. And sometimes people will say, like, are you counting like Salzburg goals? Yes, because he scored 8 Champions League goals in 6 Champions League games for that same team. So he was playing in the highest standard competition in European football with a minnow team and was still delivering goals. Can you imagine what he would be? So if he'd have like flopped in all the big games for Salzburg and not scored goals in the Champions League until he started playing for Borussia Dortmund, then I'd probably discount the league goals. But the reason why I take everything he did seriously is because he has delivered at the highest level since day dot. Can you, like, if Haaland was in a colossal team from the age of 18, a brilliant team from the age of 18, I think he'd have even more goals. I think he'd have scored even more by now. The quality that's around you, the quality of creators, your ability to dominate games as a team, enabling you to score more. And that's why I think at Man City, he will go on to break ridiculous records. There's no doubt about it that even when you look at people like the Van Bastens and the R9s and other great goal scorers over the course of history, the ones that clicked from day dot as young men, if they were part of poorer teams, would they have scored as many? Maybe, maybe not. You'll never really know. But what we know about Haaland is that he did. And he did it in the Champions League as well. And it's why I give him his credit. I think he really deserves it for one of those reasons. There's no doubt about it for me. But yeah, we can definitely do a top 10 debate at some point on the terrace. Grealish had his best City performance tonight. He did. I thought Grealish was very, very good tonight indeed. He looked excellent. Terry, you cannot say that. That's wrong. Again, I don't know what you're talking about now. I don't know what you mean because you haven't specified what I'm talking about. So I don't know how to answer that other than to say I apologize for you thinking that I'm wrong. You cannot say that Haaland is a better. I don't know what you mean. R9 is better in scoring a bit. I don't. I can because it's just a preference thing. I just look at him and I think better natural goal scorer, and that isn't to say the other guys are rubbish. I just look at Haaland and I see something very, very special indeed. And with the Champions League records that he broke at such a young age and not playing for the best teams in it either, the adaptation from going into more and more difficult leagues, the variety of goals, the way he sort of handles himself, all those things together, I just think there's something colossal about him. I really, really do. And once he makes it into an elite team, so whether that's Man City, whether that's Real Madrid, I think he goes up to another level again. And then people maybe in a couple of years will start to see it. Because what he'll get more and more as he moves into those more elite teams, he'll get those extra 10, 15 goals a year through gimmies that they don't quite always create. I mean, he gets quite a bit of that at Dortmund, but not when he's in the Champions League with Dortmund. He'll get that more and more, especially when he starts going up against the best of the best, the very best teams out there. So yeah, I think he's a brilliant, brilliant player. There's no doubt. I got what you meant in the end there, my friend. Terry, who is your favorite player ever? Mine is Zidane. My favorite player ever. My favorite player ever. Mine's a weird one. Teddy Sheringham, but he isn't the best player ever because I don't believe your favorite player has to be one of the greatest. I love the way Teddy Sheringham played. Huge fan of Beckham. Love Wayne. I won't be saying anybody that isn't a Man United player. I'm very tribalistic when it comes to that. I don't support. I know other players are better than my favorite players, but my favorite players and the people I think are the best are two different conversations for me. So my favorites are always going to be players that I loved, and that's because they play for my clubs. Who do I think is the best ever player? I think that sometimes people confuse the two. Who do I think is the best ever player that I've seen, watched? Cristiano Ronaldo, but not my favorite player. Not even my favorite Manchester United player. Zidane, as you mentioned, colossal, out of this world. R9's already come up. Loved watching him play as a kid. Who else did I really enjoy? I'm trying to think of who I... The next one is who I enjoyed watching. David Ginola, I really enjoyed watching. Most people don't talk about him, but I thought he was great. Paolo Di Canio, I loved watching. I thought he was an excellent football player. Zola was excellent. Tell you who I really enjoyed watching, and nothing he did was spectacular. Claude Makelele. I love the way he orchestrated, defended, and just the way he marshaled that back, like sat in front of that back line and marshaled it. Colossal player. I just enjoyed watching that. Lionel Messi, of course. I can't forget about Lionel Messi. Loads, but there's differences. Who do I enjoy? Who do I think the best is? And who are my personal favorites? And, you know, my personal favorites are not necessarily the best people out there. Man like Claret and Blue TV, how you doing, my friend? Says only you could do A-level maths whilst running a live stream, Mr. Flewers. Next level YouTube pundit. Thank you. I don't always have the opinions that people agree with, but that isn't the point. We're not meant to all agree with each other's opinions and views. What I do find great, though, about it is you'll say, like, oh, my favorite or my preference is this. And the reaction's always what you're saying, my guy's crap. I don't know where that's come from in society, that polarization, but I've definitely said tonight that I've definitely not said tonight anyone's rubbish. Hang on. Did I just... Hello, Jason. It just says froze. I don't know what that means. Did I freeze? Did the screen freeze? Can we throw Defoe in the mix? I always wondered if Defoe went to a big team, whether or not how many goals he would score, like a proper big team at the peak of their powers. Yeah. Check Ibrahimovic's stats versus Haaland's at 21. That's a great shout, you know. Let me check Zlatan's. This checks. I don't see it being as high, but it could be. It could be one of those things where you don't expect it to be as good, but it is. Where are we going now? So I don't know how old he is, and I have to do the maths quickly, right? So what is he? He was born in 1981. So 02, he would have turned 21, right? So we had at Malmo, we scored 18 in 47. At Ajax, his first year, 9 in 33. So at 21, he only had 27 goals. Even if we had the following season on our 21 to it, you're only talking about 30, 48. Sorry, 30, 48 goals he had at 21, 22. Yeah, nowhere near the level. Nowhere near the same level of output. I'm not saying ability. I'm just saying output. Colossal. Terry Flewers, his favorite player is Bruta Couch. Fred is Terry's favorite player. Nice bit of dead banter there. Nothing like a bit of dead banter. Random, but do you think Leroy Lita was underrated? I think Leroy Lita stopped trying. I think Leroy Lita could have been a much better player than he was. I think he just stopped trying. Is the secret phrase controversial win? It isn't controversial win, no, but thank you very much for guessing. Thank you very much for guessing. Terry, check Lukaku at 21. What is this? He's become a madness now. Let me check Lukaku at 21. Check now. I wish they did the stats by they did like an age thing. It would be easier than me. So he was born in 1993, so 21 in 2004. No, 2014. How stupid am I? Right. So he had 41 in 94 by then. No, see, he kind of struggled. No, he didn't. He had nowhere near it. He had 41, 50, 60, 66. So about 74. He had about 74 goals at that point. So, like, Haaland's got double the goals that Lukaku had at the same age. That's mad, isn't it? Terry, you need to do a Premier League mid-season awards for best player. We will be looking at doing that, Hamed. We definitely will. Terry is waffling. Usman, he said Terry is waffling. He ignored the Belgium league stats, but included the Austrian, Norwegian leagues. Yeah, I said European. So, Usman, if you go back to what I originally said, we weren't even talking about R9. I just said I was talking about players playing in Europe. So, of course, I ignored goals from outside of Europe.
Because I was talking about goals in Europe. In Europe.
Not out.
I love you, Usman. I love you, my guy. But as I said, I'm talking about goals in Europe because you have to create a level playing field. Right? And the reason that I include the goals that he scored there is because he was also scoring in top European competition as well, especially at Salzburg. You know, to have 8 in 6 Champions League goals when you're playing for one of the minnows is an amazing achievement. So you can't discount all of that. That would be wrong. His goal scoring prowess was there. It was true. It was real. If he'd have kind of gone on to the Bundesliga and done very little, we wouldn't be talking about it, would we? But what he's done is just out of this world. Because he's proven it at a high level, I include everything. I think it's very, very important to do that when you're talking about someone's finishing ability. There's no doubt. I'm not going to go around checking all the players, guys. I don't have the time for that. Terry, you're moving the goalpost. It's become embarrassing. How? I didn't. My brother.
I said at the start, in Europe. That's not moving the goalposts. That's setting the standards. Adding goals from outside of Europe is the definition of moving the goalposts.
Nice try, though, my guy. Terry, can you give me your most underrated and overrated players of all time? Oh, it's such a hard one because I haven't really thought about it. Underrated, Michael Carrick, one of the most disrespected midfield greats from the Premier League era, without a shadow of a doubt. Instrumental, influential, iconic in one of the greatest Manchester United eras, arguably the greatest Premier League side of all time, a three-peat of titles, domestic trophies, and the Champions League. You know, one of the only teams to do a Champions League, Premier League double. Goes down as one of my most underrated, overrated. Ooh, it's a hard one. Most overrated. I could do manager, Bielsa. But most overrated player, someone that's bigged up to be a lot better than they really are. Ooh. That's a tough one. That's a real tough one because I'm thinking about, I don't want to disrespect anybody too much. But most overrated. Jamie Carragher. I think Jamie Carragher sometimes gets spoke about by people like he's part of the elite centre-back fraternity. The Terrys, the Stams, the Rios, the Vidiches, the Campbells. And I think he was like a level below that. But I think people talk about him like he's a great sometimes. The way some people speak about him anyway. I also think Luis Suarez in the Premier League was overrated as well. Because even that season where he scored all them goals, didn't win trophies with it. And what was his record like that season in the most pivotal games? And what was his season like that year against the big teams? You know? So I think that was a slightly overrated season. Mason Mount is the third in the league for goal involvements and the first under 23 midfielder to get GA in the quarterfinals, semi-finals of the David is a clown. Look, David just is what he is when it comes to Chelsea youth. What can Salah do better to be considered for the World 11 shortlist? I don't know. I've told you all before, like, these player awards are ridiculous. And I love that Mo Salah's been left out. Not because I dislike Mo Salah, but seeing Liverpool fans up in arms about it, but the same Liverpool fans that tell me that player awards mean everything in player debates. Told you they didn't. Do you know what I mean? They're either corrupt or wrong, or they're completely right. They can't be both. I said this about the Ballon d'Or the other week. The same people saying Messi winning it proves he's better than Ronaldo, then complain that there was corruption at play when Mendy wasn't awarded the best goalkeeper. It's just, I switch off from that sort of stuff because it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Is Anelka a top 10 Premier League striker? Oh, I don't know about top 10. Terry, your favorite overrated player is Zaha. I hear you on that. Stop winning the fall on the floor every year is what Claret and Blue TV's got to say. Everyone dives, don't they? Everybody dives. But listen, everyone that's tuned in this evening, a massive thank you to each and every one of you. Really do appreciate it. Giving us your time coming on. I can't believe we've been on an hour. But there we go. Listen, I'll be back tomorrow with more content for you. But until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. Big up R9. I do respect R9. People, please don't take it the wrong way, people. I know most people will. But you'll see what I'm talking about with Haaland. You will see. You will see when he moves to a giant club next year. And I'll be sitting here waiting for your apologies. No, I'm only messing. I never ask for that. Terry, great show, Terry, as per. Thank you. Sammy, I appreciate that. Take care. Good night. God bless, people.